He has produced 18 state champions, produced 8 team state selections, and also is a part of the 41 conference champions in the last 52 years. Mark Peterson is a legend around Camelsport. I would like to welcome former Camelsport head wrestling coach, Coach P. Coach, what is it like to be one of the 2 coaches that is responsible for 41 conference titles?
Well, it's pretty special, Scotty. I grew up in Fond du Lac, which was about 15 miles from Camelsport, and I always idolized the program, and then to eventually take over this program that I admired so much was quite a thrill. I mean, I got a chance to coach with 2 Hall of Fame coaches in my career. One at Fond du Lac, Larry Marchionda, and then one at Camelsport with Jerry Sarge Markey. So it was pretty neat. I mean, Camelsport's a wrestling town. It's been a wrestling town for since its birth back in 1966. It just it caught on. It's a farming town. You got a lot of farm kids, a lot of kids that aren't afraid to work, and just kind of kept going, and then the success really snowballed over the years, I mean, especially with the conference winning streak, having not lost in over 30 years in the conference. That was fun, it was a good ride to keep that going. We lost the streak in 2001, but we still have had a lot of success at all the levels, regional, sectionals, and state.
What was that like to lose that match against Kiel in 2001?
Well, I could kind of see it coming. We weren't down, but we had a lot of young guys that were really good. That team actually was really, really good when they were seniors. But we were mostly made up of sophomores that year and some good athletes. But they just didn't have enough experience. And I seen Kiel. Kiel was more of a senior-dominated team that year. And, so I knew we were going to have our hands full in trying to keep that streak going. The strategy, that was going on from our bench to the Kiel bench was pretty fun, because every little major decision or technical fall or pin was crucial in gaining some bonus points.
Yeah, I remember that night. The atmosphere was electric in there. You started coaching in Camelsport in 1988. You spent 7 years under the legend.
1988.
Yep, legend under the legend Jerry Sarge Marking. What did you learn from Sarge that helped you be successful during that stretch run that you had?
Finished up my college career up at UW Oshkosh. I went back home and did my student teaching back in Fond du Lac, and I coached with Larry Marchionda. So, Larry was the technician. He was the master of moves and how to teach wrestling. When I went out to Camelsport, it was a little different. Sarge was more, let's just wrestle and brawl and beat him with toughness. And Sarge was a great motivator, and he would just get guys jacked up beyond belief. I actually had a great best of both worlds, because I learned, the moves from Marchionda, and I learned, how to just get kids mentally prepared for matches through Sarge. And that combination worked pretty good for me for many years. And it's still pretty good at Camelsport.
This is Scotty T, and you're watching the Scotty T Sports Experience podcast. We are here with Coach P, former head wrestling coach at Camelsport High School. How does it feel to be in the 300-plus win club?
Until you get to the end and you start getting those numbers. I remember when I got my 200, that was kind of a special night, because my son was wrestling for me during that time, and we knocked off Sheboygan Falls at our place, and it was kind of an upset. They were kind of the favorite, and we just wrestled out of our minds that night, and that was my 200th. And I think then you start going, holy cow, that's a lot of wins, and I mean, you gotta get probably 10, 15 wins a year, for 20, 30 years. So I'm pretty proud of that, but I really don't look at that stuff, Scotty. I mean, I like looking at more of the champions that we built, the conference champions, the state champions, the teams that we sent to state, stuff like that, I think is more important to me. But getting to 300 was kind of cool. It's kind of a milestone in wrestling, because there's not many guys that reach that. So I just feel pretty honored to be in the company with a lot of great coaches in the state of Wisconsin. Well, it kind of varied, because like I said, we had dominated the flyweight conference for like 30 years. We went 200-0 in the flyweight conference, and then they switched us over to a new conference, and then we kind of started a rivalry with Kiel, who would eventually end the streak. But it's been weird. Like I said, everybody kind of gears up for Campbellsport, and we made a lot of other programs better, I think, because they wanted to beat us. And then eventually after that, it was Kewaskum, and Campbellsport are only 5 miles apart. So, any sporting event between those two schools is just crazy, because everybody knows everybody, a lot of people work together and stuff. So we had a good rivalry with Kewaskum there for many years. And then just recently, we had some good duels with Ripon and Winneconne.
Your last year was 2019. So what is next for Coach P?
Well, like I said, I really enjoy coaching youth wrestling. I always do an after-school program. I've done that for over 30 years, and we get 100 kids in just that. And then last year I coached the club team. That's kids that are into it a little bit more, and we had 60 kids up there for that. So my goal is just to feed our new coach, Ryan Costello, feed him some wrestlers, keep our junior high program strong, and just try to promote it. I mean, wrestling's a tough sport. It's tough to get kids out, because we're competing against basketball, and basketball is always a little bit more glamorous than wrestling. So that's been my goal. I'm probably got a couple years of teaching left, and then after that, I don't know. I've really got a lot of options. I'm thinking of maybe opening up a wrestling school, maybe. I don't know. I've got some ideas. I'm going to definitely help in some way. I'd like to, give back to my wife a little bit. I've been gone a lot from her over the last 30 some years. So, I want to do some stuff with her and take some trips and go to Oklahoma City and see you and
there you go.
Play a little one-on-one and kick your butt. Hey.
Yeah, definitely. Well, Coach, thank you for coming on. Yeah, it was
thanks, Scott.
It was a pleasure.
Absolutely.
You've been a big inspiration in my life, and I know you've helped a lot of people through wrestling, and I can't wait to see what's next for you.
Thanks, buddy. Hey, and that's really what it's all about. I mean, so many guys that I've wrestled for, or that wrestle for me, like you, like yourself, are like friends of mine now, and that's what really is the kicker for me as a coach. I really cherish those friendships that I have now with some of my guys that have wrestled for me,